Well, good afternoon, and welcome to the Native American Commission meeting for October. And the first thing we have on here is welcome and introductions. So we can go ahead and start right here with Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca Knutson, a liaison from the Fargo School Board to the Native American Commission.
Whitney Fear, Oglala Sioux Tribe.
Sharon White Bear, Arikara Tribe.
Lenore King, Sistenwaptenoyate.
Guy Fox, Hidatsa Tribe.
Catlin Christie, Fargo Planning.
Mark Williams, Fargo Planning.
Tia Barasa, Turtle Mountain and Fargo Planning.
Randall Wolf, Fargo Planning.
Okay, well, welcome. I want to say a short prayer for us today. Neshanu Lachitau. Hear a prayer today. Bring us together with our minds and ideas to continue to serve the Native American people. Bless all the people and their hard work that they do for everyone throughout the community. Amen.
Ooh.
Okay, the next thing is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Was there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Here.
Aye.
Fox,
Aye.
King,
Aye.
Knutson. Aye. White Bear.
Aye. And now the first thing on the agenda is a presentation from Janelle Brandon from the Sanford Women's Community Education. So go right at, come on up to the table there, Janelle, introduce yourself. And
Hi, my name is Janelle Brandon, and I am the manager of Women's Community Programs for Sanford Health. And we recently had an opportunity to apply for funding through the March of Dimes, and we have received a grant in the amount of $9,800. And the mission and purpose of this grant is to serve Native American families, women, and children in our community, and with free doula services. So a doula is a non-medical support person during labor and delivery of that Native American woman's child, to try to improve birth outcomes, honor the traditions that that woman and her family would like to bring to the birthing sphere. And ahead of the labor and delivery and the birth experience itself, we're additionally offering patient education for Native American families. And this would be provided by nurses, educators, doulas that we have on staff, but also wanting to be very cognizant of the needs, the varying needs of our community, and to best serve from a very culturally appropriate and respectful place. So I really wanted to come here today to speak with you and your vast knowledge and representation of your community, and make sure that we are offering these programs in partnership and helping be led by your vision and your understanding, versus my organization coming forth and kind of sharing these programs from ours, from maybe perhaps not as known place. And so I'm just here to kind of learn more, or learn what might, the types of questions that you may have about that, or answer any additional questions that you have about our program. So,
does anyone have any questions for Rebecca?
am I in your spot?
Do you have anything for?
Yeah, my vast knowledge.
Yeah.
This is a learning piece, or it shows something that I don't know anything about, and I would be willing to learn too. So if anyone had any input, I'm all ears also.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I think that, this is really great, and hopefully we can get some Native American mothers, and this can work out really good for our people. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Whitney, you have something?
And thanks for coming,
Hi,
Janelle.
good to
I've had
see
the
you.
pleasure of working with Janelle on the Mayor's Blue Ribbon Commission. I guess that my question would be, is there any like cultural competency training planned for individuals who are going to be like delivering that care to Native American mothers?
We have not scheduled anything like that yet, but would love to be pointed in the right direction to, the correct training for that. Because we have the funding available, it not only funds the doula care itself or the education itself, but also the process to get there and to do it well. And so we would be very open to being guided in that direction too. So.
I know there is some specific Native American doula programs popping up in the U.S. and they might be willing to help maybe like by Skype or something.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming though, and this
Yeah.
sounds great.
Yes, and then in terms of a follow-up, who might my best contact be to reach out for additional support and partnering?
Well, it
All of
probably be
you?
one of us.
I
At least one
nominate
of
Miss
us.
Whitney, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Whitney.
Yeah,
Whitney.
since she's in that background of medical, but I also would like, if you have any questions, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you for coming. It sounds wonderful. I'm not an expert. I'm a mother, but I'm not an expert. But I was also going to suggest Whitney for continuing conversation. So it sounds like something very positive for the community. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, and just one extra note is that the grant also allows for hiring. So if I would love to bring on another Native American doula. We have several Native American doulas that serve with us in this capacity, and one actually just left our community to take a new opportunity in the Twin Cities, and so that is that leaves open a very nice opportunity for a Native American doula in our community. So really open to suggestions and hiring the right individuals to do this incredible work with our families.
And welcome, John. And we've been talking with Rebecca about doula services and what she has for Native Americans, if you have any questions for her.
I don't. I apologize for straggling in late. The mayor cornered me and said, I gotta go. My apologies, but thank you.
Thank you for your time.
My idea I was thinking of is similar to Whitney's, of having someone work with you to talk about the culture, but also the ladies that come to you will have their knowledge and maybe things that they've learned from their mothers or their tribe, and just to try to help them the best way you can to incorporate that for them, what's comfortable for them, I think would be great.
Yes, and incorporating those traditions that are specific to those families, and making sure that they're honored and carried through while they're staying with us, inpatient and in the hospital and in the postpartum time. And then there is a second piece of this, which includes a craft guide. The curriculum was actually developed in partnership with the South Dakota Urban Indian Health organization and Sanford Health, a partnership. And they found that incorporating education and crafting was a really great way to continue the conversation and really open that up a little bit more. So we have some of the tools, but we also want to lean in and ask for that partnership to do this well and just to serve in the best way across our community. So
if you're
Sounds like
willing
Whitney.
to do that, Whitney,
sure.
that would be nice. And if you ever need some help or whatever to call, I can also help you with some things.
Wonderful. Thank you
thank
for your
you.
time and invite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is a budget request for busing for the Indigenous Peoples' Day. And what happened there was the Fargo, or the bus system, was not understanding what they were doing for the transporting of the students back and forth for Indigenous Peoples' Day to Agassiz and then back to their schools. And now that has been resolved. They spoke with Melody Stabner from the Fargo Indian Education, and they are going to reduce that price so they won't need to get any more funding. And everything with that will be taken care of. We just found that out yesterday so that it was still on the budget. But the other, or on the agenda, and the other thing I wanted to bring up in its place, and I should have probably asked for that on the approval of the agenda, was we have a newspaper, or a newsletter within our Native American community that hasn't been running due to equipment. Their equipment's all down. So what they didn't ask to the request, but they asked how we could help them. And I thought that we could help them to try to get back their computer and recover some of the data that was lost when the computer crashed. And so for me, I have a budget request that I'd like to pay to the Four Directions newsletter for $1,000. I know that a lot of people in the community use that letter. A lot of our information is passed through there, whether it's birthdays or community events. And so I just wanted to know if we could possibly take that to the finance or ask to do that. And I do have a form, but which I didn't complete all the way, but I would like to give them $1,000 to help them get the recovery of their data and get maybe a new computer for them. Is there any questions about that?
I have a question. Maybe somebody in planning knows, but with the city moving, were there any computers left? And the second question is, could our IT department maybe help?
Actually, some monitors got upgraded in the move, but all the computers went from desktop to desktop. I'm not 100% sure where IT stance is as far as donating used computer equipment. I know there were some issues in the past with the data on the hard drives and reallocating them.
I suppose this isn't technically a Native American property, commission property, this computer they used, or was it?
No, it is not.
Okay.
No, it is not. Does anyone else have any questions about
Sharon?
that? Yeah, sure. Rebecca.
Do we have to have that official request, or is that are you looking for us to vote on that at this point? Can we vote on it?
Because I think we need to, as a commission, if we want to support that the newsletter in that way. I'm understanding how I can go about it, doing it.
If I could, Madam Chair, my sense is procedurally, you should probably run it through executive committee or finance and formally bring it to this commission, even though there'll be a delay. There's transparency to that and public notice, and not that we'll oppose it, but that's my sense.
And that's what I first thought, was that, we could take it to the finance committee first. But I'll, just so that you know what, be aware of what I'm asking for in that.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I know that others will want to know what the 1,000 is for also. What does that 1,000 get us? We can get a breakdown on that. That'd be cool.
And like I said, I know they're having to pay for trying to recover some of that data, and then also for just the computer itself. I know that's the main thing, but we can get a breakdown on that.
Cool.
So, okay. Well, we'll be bringing that to the finance meeting there. Then the next thing is a budget review, so that would kind of tie in with that. But what I'd like to do right now at this time is ask that we hold off from today about the budget review and ask to have a special meeting for this so that we can discuss what we have in there right now until for the end of the year. And then also we can discuss some strategies if we plan a separate special meeting. We would like to try to have that. I know it's really busy right now, and in the next couple weeks it's still going to be busy, but maybe if we could have that in either the first or the second week in November, if that's a possibility, or even at the very end of October, so that we could get a handle on exactly where we are with that budget for the rest of the year. So I'd like to suggest we have a special meeting for that. anybody have any thoughts on that?
It's fine with me.
I guess I would think that there's another topic I'd like us to maybe add a special discussion point address, and that's our sense of ourselves. You know, maybe we do a little team building or a little exploration of how we be more effective as a commission, how we roll new members in, how we have everybody on board with our mission and with the processes of, I've gotten some feedback about how we appoint people, and I'm very involved in that. But I think we should have a group discussion about that so we don't have some of these issues lingering out in the periphery. So maybe some team building?
That could be a part of it as well.
Mhm.
So we might be looking at a kind of a retreat type
A little bit of mini
or a
retreat.
workshop
Get
format.
some fry bread.
Uh-oh.
I'm learning.
Bring food, yeah. Do you have anything, Whitney?
Oh, I think that sounds like a great idea, and I think John's idea is great too, so.
And again, I just want to say, you know, even in the beginning of November, we'll work, and then it would give us about 2 months' time to get everything organized before the end of the year. And go ahead. Do you have anything
I'm with
there,
that,
Lenore?
and I think it's a great idea because we're learning more, you know, on the budgeting and stuff, you know, working closely with the city, so it's a great idea.
Okay.
Very good idea.
So what I'm going to ask then is, Catlin, if you could put together some dates and put them out there so people kind of decide what's a good, try to look for a date for everybody can make it. Make that, okay? All right, thank you. And we'll add some of those things to that, the strategic planning, but also some team building and the budget, so, okay. The Indigenous Peoples' Day update. Everything is moving pretty quickly. We're moving forward. Things are going great. Again, what we're going to be doing is having each tribe, the 5 tribes in North Dakota, present their flags to the, you can see we have a poster up here, but present their flags to the mayor. And what he has said they would do is post those flags in the commission chambers, and then during Indigenous Peoples' Day, they would fly them outside, and then during the November, they would fly them out during Native American Month. And so that's one of the first things we're going to be doing. And then we're also going to have the Gladys Ray Award that we give out every year, and I think that we need to have a vote on that today. It was a recommendation made by the family of Gladys Ray, which Sarah was a big part of that, but we just need to vote. Today we only had 2 nominations, and one of them was Gretchen Dubonovich, and the other one was Willard Yellowbird. So with those 2, they recommended for Willard Yellowbird to be the next recipient of that award. So, and the other things we're going to be doing is having some breakout sessions for students. We're having a gentleman named Alan Demery who's coming to put on a couple of little workshops for them, and then also for some adults, the licensed social workers, counselors, in the afternoon about 3 o'clock to be 2 o'clock exactly, I think, and to give them some cultural learning for different things with the people they work with in their areas. And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a meal. We've had buffalo donated from the Sisseton Wahpeton tribe, and so then there'll be some people preparing that. So 5 o'clock, we'll serve a meal, and then around 6:30, we'll have a short powwow there at Agassiz. We'll be done by 9 o'clock, so we're just going to have some honor songs. We're going to show some demonstrations of the dances, and then have some intertribals there. And we also have another group that's going to be handing out some books that the Fargo Indian Education received a grant, and they're going to be receiving 1,000 books from this organization, and the organization is bringing them their authors and illustrators of children's books. So they'll be bringing those to the their mini powwow at 5 and handing things out there at the same time. So that's some of the main things that we're doing there. So we need, of course, volunteers for everything. We're going to be needing some to help with cooking that evening before or even the day of in the morning. And we're kind of lining up, some of the colleges are pitching in, Morehead State, NDSU students, and then just the community all around. Anyone in the community can come out and help us. So that's kind of what we planned for that. So anyone have any questions or? Guy?
Can help out in any way.
Okay.
I'll put an email out for volunteers.
Okay, that would be. And then, Lenore, do you have anything?
Okay, no, I think it's going smooth. I'm going today to pick up some, the bison.
Mhm.
I'll start collecting the
Okay.
roasters again.
Yep, okay.
We'll get all that together.
Okay, thanks, and I'll be helping you with that,
Yeah.
so. Rebecca, do you have any questions about that?
I don't have any well, just let me know. I told Sharon that you guys could use my roaster, so just let me know where to drop it off at. It's pretty big, so.
Okay,
The only thought that occurs to me is if we could get a digital copy of that ad, all of us could post it on our social media and get it out to our own circles.
okay. Would you be able to do that for me, Catlin, to put that,
Yeah, and the
send
flyer
them?
is on Facebook, but I'll go, and I can send you a
Could you
copy
please?
of it.
That'd be great.
Mhm.
I need it right in front of my nose.
I did have one. I just forgot
Sure.
until just now. So I had as a suggestion to me, as I'm a nurse by trade, that we try to distribute that to some of the drug and alcohol treatment centers in the area. I guess there's quite a few of our people in there right now this fall, and that this would be a really opportune time for them to experience some of their culture in the community. They might be just visiting right now because they are sometimes from neighboring communities. So.
Is there specific places where we could just take them and drop them off? Can we have you do that?
I'm going to distribute some, but
You're
just,
going to? Okay,
yeah,
great.
if there's any way to, I guess, put that out there, share it on Facebook to some of those treatment centers, like Share House or
Okay.
Anchorage, Red River Recovery, that would be good too.
And it's also on the webpage, the fmsmokesignals.com. It's also on there if anybody wants to look it up on that. And then we did have a gentleman that does this in town, and we had 200 posters, and he takes them all over the city and posts them for us, so we had him do that. So we do know that there was a lot of posters put up throughout the city last week.
And I'm not sure what Fargo Schools or West Fargo has done in regard to promotion. I see, I think that's the logo on the poster, but
Yes.
I could do some checking on that too.
Okay. Well, I do know that they sent home flyers with students. That was one of the things they had done. They're also helping contribute to the paying of the speaker, the persons that come. They're doing that. As far as other promotions, I'm not sure what else they have done for that. I've sent that to the chairmen of each tribe. We have the color guards that are coming. I handed out some save the dates when I went to the United Tribes Summit earlier in September. I know there's a lot of people wondering, what is that? What are you doing? So the word is getting out there. Hopefully, yesterday I did a radio interview with KFGO, the Mighty 790. So
I was just going to ask about that in terms of if there is any media outreach. I remember last year listening to Minnesota Public Radio on that day, on Indigenous Peoples Day, and there was a special program about communities across the nation that celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, and I thought, Fargo is missing from the conversation, but
well, Jake from the radio station is going to podcast it and just put it out there and do the things they do, which I'm not as familiar with, but he's going to get it out there because he recorded it. It was about a 20-minute conversation, so there was a lot of information in there. And I also know that Ruth also was on a radio interview I can't remember exactly which station it was. Do you remember, Catlin? 90? Yep, KF. Is it KVRR? KVRR. And so I know she had a conversation with them as well. And I don't know if there's anything to be posted in any other news papers or anything, but
The press
ahead.
release should come out today or tomorrow, so.
Okay.
you should see more of it.
for that press release. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
that's the things I know have been done pretty much so far. Does anyone else have any questions about that? Go ahead, John.
Madam Chair, do you need us to vote on the Gladys Ray Award winner today?
Yes.
I think we should then.
So
I
if-
suppose that'll let the cat out of the bag. It won't be a secret.
No, but that's
Everybody watching and listening, but.
that's
if
the
it-
recommendation for the family, from the family. So could I have a motion to accept the recommendation of Willard Yellowbird to receive the Gladys Ray Award?
Motion to approve. Willard Yellowbird.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those, call the roll, please.
King?
King?
Yeah, yes, I approve.
Fox?
Aye.
Strand?
Yes.
Beer?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Whiteside?
Yes. Okay. So is there any other questions about Indigenous Peoples' Day?
Madam Chair, not a question, but
Oh, sure.
if anybody would like to just get on a phone call with me or whatever, I can maybe help get some quick media going. You know, as far as people I know and the contacts and get on more radios and stuff and or whatever, but if I can help in that, I'd be happy to.
Yes, I would like you to do that. And I'd be willing to, if anyone else would be willing to talk to John, we can do that. Okay?
Yep.
Well, John, I wonder in regard to public radio, if there would be some opportunities, just something to
I
think
would think
about.
so,
North
yeah.
Dakota and even Minnesota reaching out. Who is I can't remember who the Minnesota or the Moorhead individual is for Minnesota Public Radio, but
And maybe the easiest way is if whomever did this, just drop me an email with the who, what, when, where, the details, the little summary, and the contact information, and then I'll just start sending it out and communicating. So we're not like waiting to start.
Okay.
that would be great. Thank you.
I can work on something to give
Yeah.
to you today.
Terrific.
Okay. Okay, with nothing else there, public relations update. So I didn't know Ruth wasn't going to be here, but we just wanted to see where we were with kind of like this of how we were getting media out and how we were getting our own commission here out there and what we were doing. And so that's what I needed to do from that. So we'll bring that back the next meeting for public relations. I know we've bought, like, in the past, we bought, like one of the flags, I guess we'd call them, and what else are we doing to get the message out there? I've have people say they never heard of the Native American Commission. So then that tells me we need to get ourselves out there and let people know.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
when you do these flags, and I'm aware they're coming,
Mhm.
but for those of us, will there be some interpretive understanding? So those of us folks that don't know what tribes or what the flags indicate, it would be really nice to know more and or have an interpretation near them explaining them. So this is this tribe, this is, or the symbolism. I don't know, but more than just having them, if we can kind of step up the learning moment aspect of that.
When we did Indigenous Peoples' Day in the resolution, that's part of the resolution. It talks about education, and we already have plans, and we'll have a big screen, and we'll have their flag up there, and each gentleman knows that they are going to be asked to interpret what's on their flags. So we already have that process in part of our program. So thank you, because we know that's, you put a flag and you can't always see the whole thing, but you do want to know what does that signify. Recently, this weekend, I went to a reunion of sort from the Pawnees and the Arikaras and the Pawnees from Oklahoma, and we met midway in Nebraska, and one of the ladies from our area, she made T-shirts, and she put the white shield, the Rikara symbol on the front, and she had the symbol from the Pawnees, but then it's changed over the years. And so she used the old logo, because on the very bottom there are several arrowheads, and the number is significant, and they always were told that the last arrowhead on that bottom represented the Rikaras as part of their, so she wanted that one on there. So those little things that are significant, they do mean a lot. So it's good to know that. So we could have used their new symbol, but we used that one because we were included on there in a way. So yes, we will be explaining each one of the flags. So, okay. Anything else? Okay. Then the Native Programs Special Committee update. I'm not sure exactly how this was going to go and who is really part of it, but what we're trying to do is, we no longer have the Native programs, but we're going to be doing a couple of things with that. We're still trying to, there's really no group to keep together, but we could try to form something where we can continue on with some of the programs that they did or some of the things that they had there at their programs. And what we like to do is we need to get their, all the material things, the tables and things they had, and we're going to be putting them into, I think we had already agreed upon this, to a storage place, because they were passed back down to the Native American Commission to keep and use. So if there's anybody who wants to help with that and keep that going, the Native American programs as part of something we can, like a special committee without on here, and that may be something we want to talk about at that planning meeting as well. So if anybody has any thoughts about that right now, you can just say, or I think that's something we could add to that meeting. So.
Whitney, I think you had an email going out in regard to this, although maybe I'm misunderstanding this item. I'm also seeing this possibly as the work that needs to be done at the current center, where that's no longer available to us really, and we talked at the last meeting about needing to, figure out what's all there, getting inventory, figure out how to move the items out and where they're going to go. And I think yesterday, Whitney, maybe you sent an email out with a little bit of an update after visiting with the pastor there. Am I correct on that? Are these two areas connected?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we talked about that a little bit, and that we had talked a couple of meetings ago about getting a storage, and we agreed upon that. So that was our only thing, was to see what size and amount of things we had. And the executive committee, we agreed about having the largest storage that we had looked up. So we were going to be going and finding to rent one of those. And Lenore can go look today. I spoke with Guy, but if we could have any other people, I know a few people with trucks too, and we can have people try to get that done, before Saturday, as quick as we can to get those things. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, Mark, or you folks in planning, we must have some public space that we could use temporarily for storage, don't we, somewhere? I mean, they even put art in the public works buildings. It's not that, but is there anything, do you think?
Based on the transition with City Hall and the moving of the police department and the unknown of like the old public health building, the last time we looked at it, it's pretty scarce. There hasn't been any conversations with Ben Dow in Public Works, and as far as the space that they own over there, I'm not sure.
I can say something though to that, is Nicole, she also she was in this process of helping us, and she did check into some different areas and explained to me that there wasn't anything that the city had. So I know she had looked into it before.
So the old police department and public health, are they just going to be sitting empty?
I'm not sure what the immediate plans are for them, and
Are you going to be still in there?
Well, as far as I know, I'm still in there until they tell me I'm not.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Maybe if we find out your timeline,
And I know.
Maybe we could have another room available. I'm just wondering,
Even for temporary.
even for temporarily, and,
And the parking people are still in there too as well.
okay, just a thought.
Well, and then I'm also wondering, really, do we need to be out Saturday? Because, I mean, I understand there was maybe kind of not an understanding in terms of, communication and how it was supposed to go between the commission and the church or whatever, but I'm just wondering if, and I'd love to be able to help. I don't know if I'll be able to help in order to get things out by Saturday with a little bit more of a time frame to plan. I know I'd be able to help, and I volunteered to do so. I'm just wondering if the church is perhaps willing to work with us a little bit, because it seems quite sudden. Do you have any thoughts on that, Whitney? Or-
I mean, what I had been told, that our special committee hadn't met yet, but I went to the last day's Indigenous Days planning meeting, and we talked about needing a coffee maker. So that's kind of originally how I had reached out to Pastor Ryan at First United Methodist, and they seemed pretty solid on Saturday, but I don't know. He did give me the maintenance supervisor's phone numbers. I don't know if we. I sort of feel like I don't know if like a more established member wants to facilitate that, because it's sort of, I don't know. It seems like it's kind of weird coming from me because I've been on the commission for 3 months. So it's like how I think. I don't know, maybe we just need to maybe have like a group conversation with him too, maybe even. But I think they're very polite. But I do think, there are some things that I will just of note, probably shouldn't go in a storage unit that's not climate controlled. There's a pretty large flat screen TV in there. That could be damaged by the extreme cold, and there is a computer and like a printer, fax machine that probably shouldn't be out in the cold, but those 3 things would be it. As far as I know, computer, printer, and TV are all working.
Well, I think we do have, it's not a Native American, we didn't have that process. It wasn't our committee's responsibility, but we're kind of taking that on, and we're going to try to work with that. So we do have someone that was working there before who has very good rapport with them, and we'll get in contact with her again and see what we can do about maybe extending that just a few days. I mean, even if for myself, I'm really busy with the Indigenous Peoples Day, but I can try to do what I can to make time and after that to help. I know we also have the Crossroads powwow coming up, and so there's people really busy with that as well, and maybe we could get a little bit more time, but then I can also have that other person work with us to do that.
If they know that we're working to try to solidify another space, that might help.
Sure. And we'll let them know that at that time.
Right.
Madam Chair, wouldn't the ideal resolve be we move into a space that's usable, not just storage?
Absolutely.
I mean, if
That's
we
one
had
of
our
the things.
druthers where we can continue functioning and continue providing some public service, rather than just put stuff in a storage unit, and, I mean, that'd be the best result we could get.
Yeah, I agree, John. And I think, so beyond storing items, because there is the need to store them, so that's where we talked about developing an inventory of kind of to figure out what kind of space we're going to need. Like we'd probably want something more elaborate in the long run, but at least even something of a smaller scale that would allow us, the larger us, to provide some kind of remedial services even, versus just having it be a storage facility. But if we knew how much we needed, how much space we needed, and we might be able to then go out and solicit to try to find some space. I just feel like in a community like Fargo, there's no way that there can't be an organization or, a church or something where there's some space. I think we just need to find it.
And if I might continue, Mark, maybe I work with you on this, but if we can nail down and understand how long you're going to have access to your location, maybe we tag on to that for the moment present as an interim. Just, and I'll be happy to help carry that ball, but it's, as long as you're there, if you're going to be there, I don't know the details. But if that's going to continue in any period of time, at least it would give us an interim moment of time period to work with. Just a thought, but.
And I agree, that's one thing I really wish we could do, is just find a space where we could start out and build that up. Because that's, a lot of people ask about that, and it's well worth it, and the things that they were doing there it's well worth it as well. So we really do need to find a space for them if we can. So any other questions or comments on that? So, maybe in the next, by next week, if we could just get together the people that are interested in really trying to come together as a special committee to get this done. I would like to have some volunteers for that. So if you feel like you want to be part of that, and this is for community members too. Anybody in the community can be part of that. If you can send your information to Catlin and to the city or to the Native American Commission site, the city commission site, Fargo site, we would love to have your help and input, and we'll see if we can get something going for them. In the meantime, I'll talk to the lady and see if we can get a little bit more time. Okay? And then, Guy, if you want to go give us an update of the Sweat Lodge, please.
Yep.
And I appreciate that you're here again for doing that.
Yeah. The Sweat Lodge, we're back to taking reservations for the lodge. There was a hiatus while we worked out the policy and enforcement. We have everybody on the same page. Right now, we're having 3 people pour water. J.R. Fox, Delvin Rogers, Olivia Melro. And we're going to keep it at that for the short term so that we can get everything to calm down and get into a routine. We're still making reservations, and we've added to that request who the helpers are for setting up the lodge so that we can have more people be accountable for cleanup and staying on time and best management practices for the use of the lodge. We still have some things logistically for site improvements that we need to do before winter. I see that there's $4,100 left in the budget. We would like to use that for a shed. We're going to move the old shed so that we have wood and tools, something that we can lock up. We'll use the new shed for changing. And we're working with Public Works on a fence, and I don't know the status of that. I'll have to check back with Ben Dow and Nicole Crutchfield. And then I'm working with City of Fargo landfill on getting some wood delivered. So if you were to drive by right now, the site looks rough, but we have moved to the new location. There's a parking lot, and we'll just continue with the site improvements until they're complete. And part of that is taking down the old site also. And that's the eyesore. So someone, and I don't know who, delivered a bunch of wood, but the wood was just big tree stumps. You can't use that. So we'll have to maybe talk to the city about getting that hauled out of there, and I can even donate equipment if we need to load trucks, or I don't know what we're going to do with that. So for business today, I'm not quite sure on how you get the actual money that's allocated, but we need to buy a shed.
Well, I think what you can do first, guys, just go out there and seek which one you want, say how much it is, give them the invoice, and then it will get sent to be paid to it.
Let's do it.
That's the committee, you can bring it forward to the committee and ask to vote on it,
Okay.
but seek what, find what it is.
I will get some information
Yeah.
and then a receipt so that we can all see what it is.
And then we'll vote on that, but sure. Again, that's allocated for the use of that, so whatever it is that you're proposing, you guys are the committee, and I know you're doing a really well job out there.
Cool.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Guy?
I do. Madam Chair, Guy, do you know, have we alerted the folks at drug court that this program's back up and running? Because I know they have a real strong interest in that, as it's really key to their programming. I know the gal who reached out to us was Assistant State's Attorney Tanya Martinez.
Okay, I'm going to send you an email right now, and we'll visit, make sure I make contact with them.
Because I know they're really, really wanting to have that as part of their programming.
Any other questions? Okay, so we'll move on to public comment. Do we have anyone for public comment? Okay, seeing none, then we have announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Becca? John? Oh.
The coffee pot is in the other storage.
Guy?
On October 13th and 14th, we're having the Fargo-Moorhead Crossroads International Powwow, championship level singing and dancing at the Shields Arena. There is our poster. I have some hard copies in the truck too. What we've changed from last year is we heard some of the concerns from the community. It was kind of a private party, so now we want to have a better education piece. So we've invited drum groups, and we have specials lined up, and then we have announcers that will have better dialogue with the community and explanation for the education piece. Our long-term picture is to have shows at the elementary schools, working with Indian Ed and the colleges, advertising during the year, getting students and parents involved. We also are working on community philanthropy like scholarships, tutor mentoring program, foster care, solutions like the cultural center, and then having the powwow be the cornerstone, kind of the signature event for the work that we've done in the community. And then, yeah, so we're excited. I know that on Saturday, October 13th, our first grand entry is at 1 o'clock. The first responders, fire, EMT, police will be dancing in our grand entry. And then following that grand entry, we're going to have a brief honoring for first responders. Later that afternoon, we'll have a women's traditional special. And for those that don't know powwow, you have your categories that are part of the committee. You have your traditional chicken. You guys should know all that, right? I'm not explaining that very well. There are men's categories, and then there are women's categories that are specific to powwow that the committee will hold, and then you're judged on those dance performances, and you accumulate points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the weekend wins, and you win prize money. On top of those category events, people can ask to hold a special. They get on the agenda, and maybe their family, like the Fox family, would hold a special grass dance special. That will be added to the agenda, and then my family would judge, my family would give out prize money. And so that piques interest for dancers and singers, because it's not just a committee powwow. They get extra chances to win money. So that being said, on Saturday we're having a women's traditional special. Saturday evening, we're going to honor the college and university Indian Ed. Following, we're going to have a fancy shawl committee special, and then the Spike Draper fancy dance special. So, yeah, the brightest colors and the most animated dance moves are fancy dance, and so that is a spectacle for Saturday Night Live. You know, people want to come and see that. Sunday, we're having the Terry St. John fancy dance special. Terry St. John passed away, and that's Uncle Willard's nephew. And so all of his family will be involved, and that will be another awesome spectacle of excellent dancing. So that will be on Sunday. So if you'd like tickets, let me know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. So again, one last announcement of our Indigenous Peoples Day, which is on Monday. We have some great sponsors. City of Fargo, through the Native American Commission, the Indian Education Committee of Fargo, the Moorhead Schools Indian Education, Prairie Public, Moorhead State, and the Society of Children's Books of Writers and Illustrators. So those are some of our sponsors, and please come out and enjoy this short dance. We're going to be giving a few demonstrations that will show you what you can see on the weekend at the Crossroads Powwow. So thank you. Our next meeting, I believe, is November 2nd, I think it is. My thing here. I would ask that to be put on the agenda, so I don't have to look that up every time.
I think it's November 1st.
November 1st? Okay, November 1st, 2018 is the next meeting. And so meeting's adjourned. Thank you.